What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TB Toycast YouTube channel for another TB Toycast unboxing. And today I am unboxing the Elite Collection Summerslam Series Zeus. Oh man, I'm excited. This is not a newer figure. It's been out for probably about a year or two now. But it was so cool to get Zeus in the Elite line. Of course, we've not had a lot of Zeus figures in the past. We've had, of course, the No Holds Barred set that came out probably about a year before this or so, which was an Ultimate Edition. Very similar to this, though. Zeus did have a Jakks Classic, and my buddy Jason Wolf did an amazing Zeus custom Hasbro style. And we have a retro Zeus coming out as well. So we got some Zeus things working, but I've always been a big fan of Zeus. And it was crazy to me that Zeus never got an original Hasbro and never got an LJN. And I know he was only there for like a brief period of time, but he was so important to the history, especially of the WWF in that era, late 89, I guess, mid 89 to late 89. He didn't even make it to WrestleMania 6, and I know he wasn't a wrestler, quote unquote, but Zeus was important to the industry there for a minute, with No Holds Barred, of course, being the not a cinematic masterpiece, but it was fun for the kids, obviously, for that time period. So. But yeah, Zeus is in the SummerSlam wave. Mr. Perfect Build-A-Figure set, which is kind of a fun thing here that we see sometimes. Of course, in this line, we've got Hulk Hogan, Desert Storm Hulk Hogan, as it were. Zeus, Dolph Ziggler, and Jey Uso. To get all the parts you can build Mr. Perfect. Spoiler, that's not going to be the case, because this is the only one I bought. But Zeus was a must-buy for me to have in the Elite line. Like I said, I always just thought this was such a needed figure that WWE just failed to give us for so many years. It was really cool to finally get that Jakks Classic, and to get this one is even better. And like I said, more Zeus is coming. I would say he would be perfect for the Superstars line, if that ever happens, just because that look is, I mean, it's a 90s or 80s look, right? So hopefully that happens at some point. But if not, you know, Zeus had he got a few good figures. We got the retro, of course. Funko does a line called Blockbuster Rewind. I have a few of those. I haven't really displayed them or taken a lot of pictures of them, but it would be fun to throw out there sometime. They come in movie boxes, and kind of like the old school clamshell movie boxes. And I would like to throw that on here at some point because it was a fun line. It has a little mini figure inside of a movie box, but I'm like, man, how cool would it be? Because obviously Funko has a WWE license to do like the No Holds Barred movie with a Zeus or Hogan as Rip figure. I think it's a home run. Maybe it'll happen at some point, we'll see. But yeah, not a lot else on there with Zeus. And I think as far as figures are concerned, it's hard to do too many because his look hasn't really changed. Also, too, look at these flimsy packaging. Have you guys noticed that with the Elites? Packaging a lot more flimsy than it used to be. So, not ideal, but that's alright. I am a loose collector, as you guys probably have noticed. I like to open my figures, so it doesn't bother me too much, but I would say if you're a Menton card collector, this is probably not a good thing, knowing that these things aren't going to hold together super well. Get rid of the packaging there. And so there we go. We got the Mr. Perfect torso here. If someone were so inclined to build a Mr. Perfect, you got the torso and the suit jacket, that's pretty cool. And I think sometimes with the Build-A-Figures, you know, like Hasbro and the Marvel Legends line, they try to make them like can't miss figures, like ones you really want, like Kingpin or Lizard. And with Mattel, with the WWE line, that's kind of like ones I don't think will sell well, which is interesting. It's an interesting way to do it. We've got a couple extra hands with Zeus, the gripping hands, of course. Nothing too spectacular about that. Nice to have them, but I guess they're not necessarily something I need. So we got two fists there, but that works for Zeus. Zeus did a fair amount of punching, I would say. All right. The twist ties. Oh my gosh. Not a fun thing. That's why I will always say I enjoy the retro unboxing the most, because you don't have to deal with that. It's a little easier to unbox. Just pop it open. Oh man, that is Zeus all day. Look at that. Wow. I like it. Of course, this classic black and silver design with Zeus there on the side. Of course, we got it there as well. Really cool. In this kind of jacket / shoulder pad Mad Max tribute thing he's got. Very, very cool. See if we can get him to stand up here. Oh, yeah. Dude, this is a good figure. I really like this. And like I said, I'm glad that they got a licensing deal to do to do Zeus and, you know, give us that no holds barred set, which I thought was awesome. It came in the VHS style packaging. I know everyone seemed to really dig that a lot. But again, Zeus in the Elite line was necessary. I'm sure we'll get a basic Zeus at some point. I feel like when they had the licensing for Mr. T, which they may still have, we just haven't seen any Mr. T in a while. They really did a good job of getting as much Mr. T out there as possible. We got, of course, you know, the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. We got the Boxing Elite. We got an Ultimate Edition. We got a Retro. We got a Funko. We got almost everything you could. We got a Masters of the WWE Universe and a Superstars Mr. T. So they did a good job of making sure there was plenty of Mr. T, and I feel like they'll do the same with Zeus, hopefully, because I think, you know, if you got him under a deal, you might as well. So we can take his jacket off here. Very cool. This is a fun thing because I don't think did his Classic Superstars come with that? Fact check it if you want. I don't know if it did or not, but of course he's got his short boots. The costume looks great. I really like how they did that. And, of course, the Z. It's not even painted on. It's actually sculpted into the head sculpt. I dig that. His classic unibrow and his crossed eyes. This is Zeus all day long. Very, very cool figure. Perfect for the Elite line. And I think putting it in a SummerSlam wave was a really smart idea. A way to get him in the line and kind of make it like the can't-miss figure of the set. Because if you're an Elite collector and don't really dabble with Ultimates, you're like, well, we got to get Zeus. Zeus is a must-buy for most of the 80s and 90s collectors. Certainly was for me, and so I was glad to finally add that in. But yeah, such a cool figure. And of course, Zeus made a huge mark on the world of pro wrestling with no fewer appearances than he had. I know he, of course, was in the main event of SummerSlam 1989, him and Macho King against Hulk Hogan and Brutus Beefcake. And then No Holds Barred, the match, the movie. I believe it was a pay-per-view promotion. And I think they ended up putting the match on Coliseum Home Video. But it was Zeus and Macho Man again, or Macho King, rather. I believe it was Macho King, against Hogan and Beefcake. And this time in a cage, a tag team cage match, which that didn't happen a lot in the 80s or even in the early 90s. We didn't see that a lot. So, and then they paired it with the movie as a pay-per-view thing. So you got a match and a movie for a pay-per-view. Not a bad idea, right? A pretty decent idea. And then, of course, he appeared in the 1989 Survivor Series, and I think he appeared once on Saturday Night's Main Event, and then really we never saw him again. So Zeus was definitely a character that I felt was going to be around a long time. You know, it seemed as though, as a kid, again, I don't know the circumstances, I don't know the situations, right? But as a kid, I thought, oh, he's in the movie, so he's a wrestler. So this is like how he made his debut. I couldn't put any of that together as an adult. As an adult, I realized, oh, they're promoting the movie with an actor who kind of looks like a wrestler. So we're going to put him in a situation where he doesn't screw up too bad with guys that can control it, hopefully. And I'm sure that's what they did. I haven't watched that SummerSlam match back in a long time. I'm sure it didn't win any awards, but as long as it's not like terrible. I think they limited Zeus and what he did, and if they were able to do that, I'm sure they pulled it off to some degree anyway. Sometimes those celebrity involvement type matches don't always pan out, but Beefcake I know gets a little bit of flack, but he was always pretty decent in the ring, and Savage, of course, is one of the best, and Hogan can work when he needed to work. So I'm sure they were able to pull it off and everything like that, but yeah, Zeus, like I said, for as few appearances that he actually had, and he actually did show up in WCW later on as Z Gangster in the Alliance to End Hulkamania '96 before they realized, you know what, this isn't working. Let's make Hogan a bad guy, and the NWO was born, and WCW finally started taking off and becoming a household name and a big time organization. But yeah, he appeared there briefly. Z Gangsta, that was his name. Z Gangsta. What a time. What a time to be alive. The Alliance to End Hulkamania. Did I ever think I was going to be talking about that on the show? Absolutely not, but here you are. But yeah, Zeus, perfect addition to the Elite collection. Happy to have it in the collection, and hopefully we get more Zeus figures down the road. Like I said, I do know the retro's coming. I don't know if they've done a Funko Pop. I think they have, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't follow the Funko Pop world too much nowadays, and I do believe a Superstars figure would be awesome, and I'm sure a basic will happen at some point. But yeah, that is Zeus. Thank you guys for checking out the TB Toycast YouTube channel. Make sure to check out my other videos. I'm going to start plugging those in here because I've done a lot of great videos now. A lot of cool unboxings. One I did recently was Cordoon of the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. Such a fun line from Sparrow Toys. It's probably not one a lot of you are familiar with, but it's worth checking out. It's a really cool figure line. A little He-Man-esque, a little little Thundercats-esque, which I think is kind of cool, and one of those independent lines that just kind of popped up out of nowhere. And it's like, hey, you know what? That's cool. I want to get that figure. I want to talk about it. I want to see what it's all about. And that's what I did. And I think getting different stuff on here, obviously I could dive into all wrestling, I could dive into all DC comics, but I would like to have variety. And I've gotten a lot of feedback on that, of people liking the variety of videos I'm posting. It's not one thing. It's not just retros. It's not just this. It's a bunch of different stuff. And I'm trying to keep it as different as I can while diving into other stuff. Like this one here, I plan to record actually sometime after this video, Mythic Legions. I don't know if you guys are into those. Kyle Peterson obviously is a big fan of these. He's unboxed several on his channel. And Travis Fowler from TB Toycast is a big fan of Mythic Legions. Kind of got me into them. Dove into them and was like, wow, these are great. I need more. And that's kind of usually how it goes. So you get into something, you think, wow, these are great, and I want to dive into more, and it'll be perfect for this particular channel. So that'll be coming up at some point very soon. But like I said, check out that Cordoon unboxing. More Animal Warriors are coming after that one, but that's the first one I did, and it's a really fun one, so check that out. And of course, check out the TB Toycast podcast. Every Thursday, we have a different main event, as well as talking about news and happenings, pickups, things like that going on in the toy world. It's a lot of cool stuff there. And we're always diving into something different. And one fun episode we dove into, this was early on, but it was the Viewmaster. I think it was like episode 16 or 17. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's where it was. And we kind of almost did it as a joke. I put it up there and let Travis pick of 4 possible topics, which seemed like a good idea at that time. But now, as we are cruising over 160 episodes, it's really hard to remember what we have talked about and what we haven't talked about. So I was like, oh my gosh, okay, so how about the Viewmaster? And he picked it, and it was really fun to talk about. And the Viewmaster was one of those toys where most of us had one, or at least knew someone that had one. And it's like, oh, cool. And it lasted about, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds worth of fun, because the reels felt like they had a lot of pictures. I think they had 8 because it was one for each eye, right? And so after those 8 pictures, you're like, well, that's done. Put in the next one. 8 pictures, well, that's done. And the next one, and that's usually all it came with, was 3. But of course, you could buy different sets, right? I remember very specifically talking my grandma into a Batman Returns set of reels as a kid, and she bought those for me, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Look through them all, and that's done. On to the next thing. So the fun didn't really last, but they're actually still making those again now at Target. I saw one today. I was like, wow, a Viewmaster. Who would have thought? But that's it. That's all I got this week, or this episode, rather, for the TB Toycast unboxing YouTube channel. Thank you guys for checking it out. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Put a comment on this video. Give it a thumbs up if you are so kind. And let people know you dig it. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. New videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That is Zeus. Thank you guys for checking out the channel, and we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shot.